You know the story of the Super Saiyan, right? A transformation born from pure rage and grief, a legend that was talked about for 1,000 years. And of course, it was Goku who finally made it a reality against Frieza. But what if that legend was meant to be taken, literally? What if there could only be one, just one, Super Saiyan, once every millennium? Think about that. That one tiny change to the rules sends out ripples that become a massive tidal wave, and it completely changes the entire history of Dragon Ball as we know it.
So, let's lay down the one simple rule for this new timeline we're exploring. Goku is the guy. He is the one and only Super Saiyan. That's it. No Super Saiyan Vegeta, no Super Saiyan Trunks, no Super Saiyan Gohan. Just Goku. And that single fact forces every other character we know and love down a totally different path.
Okay, so the Frieza saga plays out exactly like we remember. Goku wins, he learns instant transmission on Yardrat, and future Trunks shows up to warn everybody about a terrifying new threat. But it's right there, during the 3 years of training to prepare for that threat, that our timeline just completely fractures. So for 3 whole years, everyone is training their hearts out. But here's the difference. While Goku is busy mastering his Super Saiyan abilities, Vegeta, he hits a wall, a hard one, an unbreakable ceiling. No matter what he does, no matter how much rage he channels, the transformation just isn't available to him. So he has to rely on nothing but his base power and pure grit, which, as you can imagine, changes everything when the androids finally show up.
And just like in the original story, Goku's big fight against Android 19 gets cut short by that heart virus. He just collapses. But this time, there's no Super Saiyan Vegeta waiting on the sidelines to swoop in and just obliterate the android. Earth's #1 defender is down for the count, and its #2 is, well, he's just a really strong guy. So, who steps up?
That's right, Piccolo. He strolls onto the scene, totally ready for a fight. And you have to think about that for a second. The fact that he even showed up, knowing that this new enemy was supposed to be even stronger than the Super Saiyan who beat Frieza, man, that says everything about his confidence and just how powerful he'd become.
And look, Piccolo wasn't just being reckless, he was genuinely strong enough to handle it. Remember, he'd spent those 3 years training side by side with Goku. We literally see him sparring with Super Saiyan Goku while still wearing his heavy-weighted clothing. And later on, even after Dr. Gero absorbs a bunch of energy from the Z-Fighters, Piccolo just manhandles him. So yeah, Piccolo steps in, he takes down Android 19, and he saves the day.
So, with that crisis handled, the timeline moves on. But the Cell saga, well, it becomes a much shorter story. You could even call it an anticlimax. Without a Super Saiyan rival in the mix, the whole dynamic of the fight against Cell is turned completely on its head.
Once Goku recovers from the heart virus, there's not even a debate about who goes into the hyperbolic time chamber. Vegeta doesn't have Super Saiyan, so there's no ascended form for him to go chasing after. It just makes logical sense for Goku and Gohan to be the first ones in to prepare for Cell.
Inside the chamber, Goku absolutely masters the Super Saiyan form. When he comes out, Cell has already absorbed Android 17 and is in his semi-perfect form. But here's the key difference. Unlike the original timeline, where pride and wanting a good fight let things get out of hand, this Goku is all business. The second Krillin reveals Cell's plan to absorb Android 18 to get even stronger, Goku just draws a line in the sand. Not happening.
And just like that, the whole thing is over. Goku completely dominates semi-perfect Cell. It's not even a contest. When Cell realizes he's outmatched and tries to make a run for it to find 18, Goku doesn't hesitate for a second. He uses instant transmission, cuts him off, and unleashes a Kamehameha that completely vaporizes him. No Cell games, no perfect Cell, no Gohan rage boost. It's just done.
With the Earth safe and sound, the story's focus shifts to a very frustrated, very humiliated Prince of all Saiyans. Because he's been denied the legendary power that he feels is his birthright, Vegeta is forced to get creative and find a whole new way to close that massive gap with his rival.
Vegeta's smart. He realizes that just training harder isn't going to cut it. So, swallowing his pride, he starts digging into Goku's past, asking about his old training methods. This eventually leads him to King Kai. He uses the Dragon Balls to get to King Kai's planet, he passes the tests, and he learns the one technique that could put him right back in the game. The super risky, but incredibly powerful Kai Yoken. And then, he spends an entire year in the time chamber, mastering it.
So when Vegeta finally challenges Goku again, it is an absolutely incredible fight. Goku, who has no idea what Vegeta's been up to, just spars in his base form. That's when Vegeta surprises him, suddenly exploding into Kaioken times 20 and landing a flurry of powerful hits. Goku's impressed, so he powers up to Super Saiyan. But Vegeta's not done. He pushes the Kaioken all the way to a staggering times 50, and he's actually matching the legendary Super Saiyan, blow for blow.
For a brief moment, it looks like they're totally even. The rivals are on equal footing. But then, Goku smiles. He's got one more trick up his sleeve. As Vegeta charges in for the finish, Goku's power just skyrockets again, revealing Super Saiyan 2. He ends the fight with a single blast, leaving Vegeta utterly shocked. The gap is still there.
You know, that defeat changes Vegeta on a fundamental level. That desperate, all-consuming need to surpass Goku is just gone. It's replaced by this cold acceptance that they're just on different paths. And that one shift in his personality is enough to completely, and I mean completely, derail the entire Majin Buu saga.
Let me show you how the whole saga just kind of falls apart. So Gohan, who never got pushed to unlock Super Saiyan, is way weaker here and gets absolutely demolished by Deborah. But here's the real kicker. When Babidi tries to possess Vegeta, offering him power to finally settle his score with Goku, Vegeta just says no. That score is already settled. He has nothing left to prove. And without Vegeta's energy, Majin Buu is never revived. It's that simple.
With the Buu threat basically neutralized before it ever began, Vegeta realizes he needs a totally different kind of training. He actually convinces the Supreme Kai to take him on as a student. This leads him to the legendary Z-Sword, and after this immense struggle, pushing his Kaioken to its absolute breaking point, he yanks it out of the stone, unlocking a completely new path to power for himself.
And this leads to a really fascinating change. When Beerus, the god of destruction, finally wakes up, he's not just looking for the Saiyan who beat Frieza. He's actually more interested in the Saiyan Prince, who is training directly under a Supreme Kai. So his first stop isn't King Kai's planet, it's the world of the Kais, to meet Vegeta.
Now, Beerus' arrival plays out a bit differently, but it still leads to the discovery of the Super Saiyan God, and this is where our two rivals, Goku and Vegeta, find a brand new, fascinating, and much more balanced state of power. They land in this amazing place of balanced, but totally different power. Goku, as the one and only Super Saiyan, is the only one who can combine that legendary form with God Ki to achieve Super Saiyan Blue. But Vegeta is not left behind. After the Z-Sword breaks, old Kai unlocks his full potential, giving him the ultimate form. And on top of that, he's learning all these unique godly techniques from the Kais. They took different roads, but they arrive at a pretty similar destination.
And hey, just in case you were wondering, the Super Saiyan God ritual is still totally possible here. The key thing to remember is that it never required 5 Super Saiyans, just 5 pure-hearted ones. So that allows Goku to achieve the form, which kicks off this new age of the gods for everyone, and sets the stage for this awesome new rivalry.
So this is where we end up. Goku gets to keep the legendary transformation, a power that's unique to him in the entire universe. But Vegeta, denied his birthright, forged a completely new path through sheer willpower, mastering the techniques of both mortals and gods. So in this new timeline, the question isn't just who's stronger anymore, it's whose path is better. And could the Prince, now a student of the Kais, finally find a way to surpass the one and only Super Saiyan?